Hello everybody, welcome to GFA Live, a brand new sports talk Twitch stream where we talk about the latest and greatest in the world of gridiron football. As you can see, we've moved our stream time permanently to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, so make sure you mark it on your calendars. I'm your host Onkey, and without further ado, let's dive right into the action. Welcome to our first segment of the night, the GFA Report. We are here to bring you the latest news on GFA scores, standings, and stories. Aiden and Silver are going to kick us off with some games from this week.
Hello everyone! Welcome to my segment where we run down some of the week's most interesting games. I'm AidantheFunny, let's get right into it. By far the closest game this week was Polar Opposites vs Dragoons, which ended 42-41 in favor of PO. This game came down to the wire and ended on a blocked field goal kick, causing the entire crowd watching to immediately blame the devs' game design and indulge in more film study than they probably ever have of their own gameplay. They concluded this miss was not because of a bug, but because of the right tackle beginning in South Mongolia and having to travel 50 football fields to bench. Bummer. The Dragoons also had some mishaps that put them in a worse shape than the Chargers' special team unit, and sent them so far into shock that they spent all their scrims kicking extra points. Perhaps one of the most memorable parts of this game was what happened after, which myself and others have dubbed the clowning of Bobby 2. This refers to the events that transpired after he said if we replay that game and don't troll, it's 45-0, calm down, which may have gone over a bit more smoothly had he not laid a goose egg in practically every stat category. Needless to say, everyone in the GFA general chat immediately went after him, making meme after meme about Bobby 2's presence in the game and the team as a whole. Now people will think twice about going after Jibs. This clowning of Bobby 2 is perhaps the worst I've seen since the GFA saw Bomb&Nick choose 5 wide in the QB huddle. Speaking of clowning, we saw nothing good in Shinigami vs Iron Phoenix, just the bad and the ugly. As if the team didn't have it bad enough with all the towels that they've been told to throw in amounting to enough to absorb the Pacific Ocean, they've got demolished by Shinigami. 95-0, their worst loss since Clown put up 100 on them back in the day. 27 sacks allowed, 8 interceptions thrown, but hey, at least they held MVP to 10 rushing yards. Just ignore the 553 yards through the air. Shinigami sent them packing so hard that they went back to Season 1 to pick up duty and bring him into the QB position. Needless to say, Iron Phoenix is going to have to rise from the ashes more than once to escape the slump that they've thrown themselves into. Shinigami, on the other hand, can waltz on forward with their shiny new nose tackle and enjoy their win. Iron Phoenix will get a nice match against their former QB, not a Deagle, and wait, hold on. No, never mind, they lost that too. Well, that's all from me, and remember, this is all satire. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you for that, Aiden, and we are going to move on to the Blizzard Kingsman game. We have 2 games actually lined up that were actually really good games ending up this week. So, first one with Blizzard Kingsman, back and forth game, with Kingsman taking a lead, I think, during the second half, with both QBs ending up putting very good numbers. Dome put up 393 yards, while Cam only put up 249, but the points just did not line up for Blizzard to really take over the game. The line stepped up huge for Kingsman, and Conspiracy got 3 picks that ended up finally sealing the game. Blizzard almost made the comeback, but they just fell up short. It's not really too much else to talk about. I mean, it was a really good matchup between both teams, and we're looking for Kingsman to try and claw their way back from a very unfortunate start to their season, and Blizzard being, I believe, 2-3 now with a couple of games already being played. They're looking to just hopefully stay near that, what's the word I'm looking for? Edge of the playoff spots, because both these teams have shown good amount of gameplay, but there have been cracks in their offense and defense. But let's go ahead and move on to the Aztec title game, because I believe that game was a little bit more interesting, as we saw a very human side of Title that we've not really seen before. Even though they were playing Comets, which should have been the tougher matchup, Aztecs gave them more trouble than Comets did. The line for Aztecs have put up 9 sacks. Those 9 sacks are combined, I believe, three to 4 games where there were 9 sacks before, and Aztecs put up 9 themselves. Yes, I believe Comets, Hunt, and UFO ended up having 9 sacks in total over the cross of 3 games. And Aztecs put that number up all by themselves and holding Shaq to 43 points, which I believe was the second lowest, the lowest score Title has had this season. I believe they scored 46 against Comets. Or did they only score 40? Possibly only scoring 40. But they were able to do just enough. So even with a struggling Title team, they were able to do just enough to hold on to the lead. But we'll see if they can perform as well as they did, even though they were struggling. A lot of very poor decisions towards the end of the game. You showed a lot of panic with Shaq's play calling. There were a lot of people in his ear. He was telling me after the game that it just overwhelmed him with information. So he ended up trying to do stuff that he normally doesn't do. But that is going to be it for me. I'm going to head back to you, Onkey.
Cool. Thank you so much, Silver. I'm just going to run through some quick transactions that happened this week. K9 making some moves, bringing in Lockdog, the longtime player, to help coach them. And they're bringing back Sparks. After his quick change to Kingsman, he is right on back with K9 to help out their wide receiver core. Demystify moves to Pride. Actually, not moves to. He was a free agent. He is a longtime lineman turned QB, and he's coming in as their backup QB and offensive coordinator. IP parts ways with the number one everyone fan, aka Clifton Harler, and bring in Duty to QB number 1 for them. Let's all give a big, warm GFA welcome to the Swarm, a brand new team. The QB, J.R. Adams, running back King, Vacyak, Legacy, Kurt Shorty, It's Wacky, King A23, Nukezilla, and Dylan. Welcome the Swarm to the GFA. Hope you enjoy your time here. And last but not least for transactions, we see the return of Nico, taking a little bit of a leave of absence, but he is back with Deagle on False Idols. And that is all I got for transactions. We're going to move on to power rankings with Hooks. Surprise! It's not Hooks, because Hooks was unable to make it. So you're going to get some power rankings vicariously through me from Hooks. So, at the top, Hooks has Title. Hooks says Title is the best team in the GFA, hands down. Shaq is having the season of a lifetime, and absolutely no one can stop them. I might be a tiny bit biased, but I do agree. Shaq is having, hands down, an MVP season. Up next, at number 2, we got Shinigami. Shinigami overtakes K9 at 2 because of the schlacking on IP. K9 needs to step it up, according to Hooks. And also, according to Hooks, Dude has passed the torch to Mai, the new number 1 wide receiver. This is power rankings, but that is a hot take. All right, at number 3, we got K9. Same reason. Dude is falling off, and a boomer team can't handle these new youngsters. At number 4, we got PO. They only moved down to 4 because of how well Dragoons played them. Still top 5. Speaking of top 5, Quan is no longer a top wide receiver in Hooks' book. Look for PO to move on in the offseason. Comets, they stay at 5. Nothing too big, nothing too fancy. So they're just chilling at 5. At number 6, Hooks has Huntsman. Yay Goat has risen from the retirement home to bring a championship to Huntsman. Hooks' bold take is they will be in the Grid Bowl. Interesting, but time will tell. Up next, we got Kingsman. Rumor has it that Mouse is looking to leave in the offseason. SF3 in the works. That is something to definitely keep an eye on. I've been hearing some stuff, but we'll see. Number 8, we got Blizzard. Blizzard, if you all remember, was Hooks' number 3 team in his initial power rankings for the season. They fell off a little bit, but they're back in Hooks' top 10 because Matt paid him $5 to do it. You did not hear that from me. At number 9, we got Dark Donuts, aka Docinados. They had a tough loss, so they're down to number 9, but still a solid playoff team in Hooks' book, which I do agree DJ has been making some money moves, and they're a team to look out for. Finally, last but not least, in the GFA top 10, we have the Dragoons. This is quite possibly the boldest take that Hooks has in this power rankings. Hooks says Malik is the new gunslinger. He is calling it now. That man is absolutely balling. He balled out against PO, and he is not looking back. Bold take from Hooks. Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, we had a couple teams fall just below that GFA top 10 line. And those from Hooks' perspective were the Aztecs, Goon Squad, and UFO. Maybe next week you'll make a case to be in the top 10. Yeah, so that is your report for week 2 of the GFA. Thank you for tuning in, and now on to our next segment, Hot Takes. Alrighty, we have. Oh, I gotta move some stuff around. We have some people in the building with me tonight. We got Clifton Harler, we got Riding Keys, we got Y2J, and we got Wi-Fi. Give me 1 second to get
What's
this
going
all
on,
worked
people
out.
in the chat?
How's it going, guys?
What's going on, fellas?
Alrighty.
Before we start, let me get this off.
Yeah,
a
go
lot of
for it.
people may be wondering why I'm rocking the Aztecs purple. I've been under the weather lately, so when I'm feeling like a loser, I put on a loser jacket. Makes me feel right at home.
Whoa.
That's how we're gonna
Damn.
start this off.
Oh no!
All right, I see you.
Hey, Hot Takes is starting hot this time, huh?
Hot Takes is starting hot. Just getting some names in place. Not sure where people would be on here. Alrighty, cool. So, welcome to Hot Takes. I'm in the studio as like I said, jeez. I'm in the studio with Riding Keys, Clifton Harler, Y2J, and Wi-Fi. We're gonna talk about a possible Goon Squad slow start, PO, and the fate of the Andromeda division. So strap on in, grab your oven mitts, because these takes are coming out hot. So, to kick us off, our first question for the day: does Hunt still deserve to be called a Tier 2 team? They have played some very good teams, but a negative 98 point differential, that is crazy.
Did they ever deserve to be called a tier 2 team? Like who put them in that ranking? I mean, they've kind of kept up in some situations with very good teams, but they can never close it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see how you could call them a tier 2 team. And if you wanted to, then they absolutely need to beat Comets this week. And they need to do it convincingly. It can't be any like baby scores. Nothing like a 2-point win. It has to be a convincing win.
I agree. They need a statement win in my book to kind of solidify why they were selected as a Tier 2 team. I know Jaeger's got some stuff cooking, but we got to see it on the field.
I mean, to me, is that the only reason they were ever considered tier 2? Is it because of Jaeger? And if so, like, why did you think that was the case, right?
I mean, is that a bad thing?
I mean, he was coming back. It wasn't like he was very active in the community at the time they formed, or reformed, I should say.
I think Huntsman's the kind of team that once they get the ball rolling, it's going to be they're going to be back into form. Right now they're not, and I don't think I'd put them at tier 2 to begin the season. But once they get their shit together and they get the ball rolling again, I can't see a reason to not have them there. I mean, they've proven before that they're a very good team.
I think it all just comes down to how much they want to work for it. The same thing with Kingsman, as well as some other teams. You look at the roster, you see Destin, Jaeger, Alto. That's a respectable roster, but
hmm
I mean, these guys just don't play as much as they used to. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I did really like the Alto edition early in the season. Because honestly, Alto was one of the people last season that gave me one of the hardest times online. So I liked that addition to Hunt, but I just haven't seen it all gel together like I thought it would. Anything from
I'm a Huntsman hater. I'll call it that.
you're a
I'll say that
Huntsman
right now.
hater?
Yeah.
I think had they not beat Kingsman,
hmm
it'd be a different story. But Kingsman's a pretty good team,
hmm
so
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
losing to PO is kind of a rough one. But the
Yeah.
only other 2 losses are to Title and K9, who are incredibly good teams. So
Yeah, I mean PO is a tough team to beat as well. Are they tier 2 or are they tier 1?
I think they started the season tier 2.
Gotcha.
Or they might have started tier 1. Now I can't remember.
Gotcha. But
There's a
they
lot of debate over if Shinigami or PO should be like which
mm,
one you would put in tier 1 or tier 2.
they're making a name for themselves. They're 4-0 right now. So maybe we'll see some pushback from Hunt during the rest of the season. All right, next up we got the Mercy Rule. We just saw a very, very, very devastating IP loss to Shinigami. Is there a need for a Mercy Rule? And how might that look?
So as the foremost expert on getting blown out,
Mhm.
no, dude, why would you have a mercy rule? If you're not gonna want to play the full game, just forfeit the game before it starts. It's a 20-minute game. It's not like Shinigami completely killed Comet.
Mhm.
You know, they're having a good season anyway. How much is that, like, are those stats actually going to help them? And then if there is a mercy rule implemented, is it going to be forced on the teams that are losing?
Mm,
Because that could be more disrespectful to getting blown out. So why not just let them finish the game?
fair
I
enough.
think it's hard to have a particular hot take on this. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
answer is that mercy rules are anti-football. It's not in the spirit of football. You got to play to the final whistle or don't play at all. So I don't think there should be a mercy rule, and I don't think we should advocate for one. I mean, it's just got to play.
I also agree. Also, like, there's a FF button like in between. So I don't understand the mental, because if they wanted to quit, they had. I understand when it's 21-0, you're still trying to hold on. But once they looked up at the scoreboard and saw 48, 49, 60, I don't understand. We don't need a mercy rule if the FF button is there, and it probably should have been used that game, guaranteed.
So
Yeah, I agree with Turtle there. You know, after a while, like at some point, you got to realize that to come back, you'd have to score 100 points. And once it's third quarter and it's 95-0, you're just getting blown up. You know, you might as well just FF at that point. I understand, keep fighting. You can always come back. But at a certain point, the game is too far away.
I mean, if that's the case though, Shinigami also blew Comets and Darkseid out. So should they have 3 mercy rule victories on their record right now? And how would that impact their stats? Because if you're killing a team by halftime and you're telling them they can't play that team anymore,
yeah, so
they could be screwed over.
how might stats be approached if a team did forfeit? Like they were down 50-0 at half and they said, "All right, let's throw in the towel." No pun intended. Um how might that look? Cuz that's really tricky. Who's to say if the other team would have scored 50 more points after half or whatever it is? I don't know. I just feel like some stats could get really inflated from that.
Exactly. You know, you get a top team like Title. If they were to ever go against Swarm, the stats would be looking crazy. So you obviously don't want Title putting 200 on Swarm and then the Swarm getting disbanded. So I'm thinking that a mercy rule for like obvious blowouts, like you're not coming back. I think there should be something in place to try and stop that.
Why are you
type of abuse.
duking on Swarm? They haven't even
Look,
played a
they,
sim yet.
they are
Don't
brand
talk,
new,
don't
man.
talk
And
anything
they
about
got
Swarm.
Vacyak. Listen, I don't care about any other player in this league, but Vacyak, he's gonna be the MVP. He's up and coming.
Really quick segue.
Swarm is also sorry.
Clifton, Swarm has been ranked higher than your former team
Yeah.
IP. Any comments, laughs, or discussions?
Dude, shit happens. Like, there's a lot of guys on IP that I really like and I really care about and I really want to see succeed. But at the end of the day, if you're getting blown out, like, no offense to anybody from False Idol listening, but if you're getting blown out by 45 points by False Idol, I mean, Swarm was mentioned by Ice Cube in a song for NWA, so they're clearly not that bad.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Clifton, I will say you are taking this on the chin, and that is a good look for you.
Dude, that's all I've ever done. Look, I play this game for fun. There's a lot of people that are way better than me at it, right? Like, I'm never gonna say, dude, I'm gonna compete with Gunslinger for best quarterback. That's me. I play to have a good time, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I never thought going into that Shinigami game we were gonna be the ones winning by 95.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, Clifton. Like, you went in there for fun, but once you look up at the score and it's 80 zip, I'm not having fun no more. I'm trying to get up out of there.
You know what I did at halftime? Just threw the ball up. Fuck it. Give my receivers a chance. Have some fun. Close the game out. Like,
you know that, but like the stats don't show that. It shows 95 zip. So I'm trying to get up out of there, go take a cold shower, and think about what happened. Because after you pass 55. I'm not having fun no more. You know what I'm saying? Run the ball. Run the clock out. You know what I mean?
All right. We're going to move on to our next question we got here for hot takes. We have PO, the 2020 Steelers. PO is 4-0 right now. They seem like they're a strong team. But they've just kind of been beaten up on weak teams from what I've seen. So, are they like the 2020 Steelers where they're undefeated, going hard, or are they really that good? What do we think?
PO's frauds.
You think PO's frauds?
They're frauds.
Why is that?
They beat a Rusty Huntsman team, Pride, who, I mean, we all know Pride can upset like one really good team a year, but it's also Pride who consistently aren't the best. And, Duncan Tornadoes or whatever their name is. They're like DJK and that team has been very inconsistent from the beginning. Like they're gonna put up points against good teams, but they're not very good. And I think having close games with like Dragoons and Pride is not a good look for a team if you think that they're gonna go like all the way.
I gotta disagree.
As well.
You did not mention. I don't know if this was. So the team that beat you by 95 or 96, Clifton, they also beat that team first week.
Sunday.
I suppose it's any given Sunday, but if we're actually realistically ranking teams, K9 Title, one bracket, PO, Shinigami, another bracket, and then everybody else falls below that. Like, they're just a complete team. Not everybody's top tier, but Quan is amazing, Mag is amazing, Rowstock is amazing. Bob, he's on the field sometimes, I guess. The team is just very good from front to back. I don't know, man. PO
I don't know.
has
I
a
can
chance.
confidently say that PO is better than like Title or Comets. I understand that Comets lost by a lot to Shinigami, but like also anything can happen any given week.
I
can't confidently say that PO beats Comets consistently.
I think I agree with Clifton here actually. Like they beat a gelling Shinigami team early that didn't quite know what they were about yet. And like Clifton was saying, they've had some really close games with some not too great teams. Like not any teams that you mentioned up in that upper echelon, like Title, Comets, all them. I think I need to see more.
I'll try and put it one way. The Steelers play down to their competition. They also play up to it. PO does the same thing. They might be a strong team one week, they might not the next week. There's no way to consider them a strong team yet when you don't really have all the tape on if they are, because they keep letting these weaker teams hang on for as long as they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if PO is as strong as a team as we think, there's no way the PO versus TD game is coming down to a botched field goal.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like if Shinigami was actually worse than PO or as good as them, the same situation would be the same. But you know, Shinigami's blowing out teams they should be blowing out, and they're even beating teams by a lot that they shouldn't be. So
Well, I mean, counterpoint, maybe this is because I'm an RSL guy, so I'm just like kind of in the know. But
Mhm.
if we were to scroll down scrim results, even when Shinigami was beating the pants, or Pub Stars at that time was beating the pants off every other team, there was one team that they would always lose to. You want to know who that was? It was PO. Like, PO has always had their number, and I always rank PO just a little bit above Shinigami. And I think, like, overall, they're like the 3 and 4 of the league right now. The 1 and 2 are locked in, interchangeable. PO and Shinigami are both just a tier above the rest, in my opinion.
I think they could go as low as 5. I don't think they're lower than 5, but they could be put as low as 5. But that's just it's because you don't know which PO is going to show up. Is it going to be the PO that beats the pants off of Shinigami, or is it going to be the PO that lets the Dragoons hang in for a field goal attempt?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to it kind of sounds like y'all are unimpressed with PO's performance because of these close games.
Mhm.
But at the same time, they got the W. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's all that matters. So like in this game, your record, and you don't get to the playoffs by blowing teams out. You get to the playoffs by winning. So as long as you win, I think you're good, to be honest. No matter who the team is, whether it's Pride or Dragoons, because Pride could just be playing a really hot game. Bamanek could have just been eating his Wheaties and he could have been just out there slinging the rock. You know what I mean? So you can't say PO is not that, you know, they aren't those guys because they had a close game with Bamanek. They still won. They're
Mhm.
undefeated. So you got to look at that. You can't look at anything else but their record.
Now I can look at whatever I want and say whatever I want about them. And they got Babito. I mean, man put up 0-0-0-0-0 on the Dragoons.
That's what
So-
the Magician is doing it all with 2 receivers. Okay? He's out there with 2 receivers and 1 lineman, and he's out here winning. I like it. I like it a lot.
Having Bob on the field is like, any of you have like a younger brother? Remember when you gave him the controller that wasn't plugged in?
Damn, dude, that's cold.
That's what Bob's out there doing. It's my boy.
I mess with Bobito, but like 0 against Dragoons. I'm just saying Dragoons are those guys too. But I'm gonna leave that for another discussion. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. 2 receivers, 1 lineman, and Magician, and a Dream. And that's what they're rolling with, and they're doing the damn thing. So
All right, I think
Magician's a magician.
I think I need to see a little bit more consistency from them, but I think you've swung me. I'm a PO believer now.
yeah.
All
Not
right.
me. I'm still on.
Speaking of
other side of
PO, Magician, is he the Lamar of the GFA? He is leading rushing yards and leading rushing touchdowns right now. Plus, he can throw that mean ball to Ralstock, Quan, and sometimes Babito if he's feeling spicy. Is he
So,
Lamar?
I was thinking of this question before, and you remember when Lamar had that super pop-off season where everybody was like, "Oh, he might just be," you know, he had Mark Ingram, big trust, woo woo. You feel me? I think that's what it was coming in. They were like, "Okay, PO was the stuff during the RSL. They're gonna come in here, slap up." You know, Ravens are 7-3, but they're winning off of field goals. That's kind of what it's like right now. Like they're barely winning, but they're still winning. So you can't call him, you know, bad. But he's playing exactly like Lamar. So I think they're spot on with calling him Lamar. You know, you see him dancing around in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? 1v3. And he's doing the damn thing. Lineman not even blocking. He's just running it up. I like that. So I definitely would say he's the Lamar of the league.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying, where not only was he like Lamar in the RSL, where he was impressing everyone with his rushing, his pocket movement, all that jazz, but he's taken that step not to a more pedestrian level, but a grittier version of Lamar that we're seeing this season in the 7-3 Ravens. I like that.
I like it a lot.
I don't think much needs to be said. I think he just wins games by himself. He's a GOAT.
By his damn self. No. The thing with Magician too is like when you watch him, you would think like when watching the PO Shinigami game and like watching, no disrespect to player, but watching player get abused by Regis, I'm thinking it's gonna be a bad game. And then you just see Magician, calm and collected in a non-existent pocket, and he's out there doing the damn thing. I would say he is Lamar because the way he could just run the ball and occasionally throw a dot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just I like what he's doing out here.
Gotcha.
I'm ready to disagree with everybody.
Really?
Yep.
Go for it, Keys.
I think anybody in this current meta and the way the balance is for the line, if you have even a semi-competent lineman, you can play rat style, and I think that's what Magician excels at, is playing that rat style play. Yeah, throws occasional dots now and then, throws some good passes, but it's hard to call anybody Lamar because there's 2 or 3 other QBs who can probably do the same thing if their linemen are just even semi-competent because of how strong it is on the O-line right now. So I'm not impressed by the running, and I'm not impressed by the rat style play because it's just it is what it is with this line meta.
Interesting. A man after Mouse's own heart.
That is an interesting take because, like you said, I do agree with you because people like Habibi, Days, they've been out here styling with the run style, the quote unquote rat style for a while, and they're known for this rat style. But I think Magician just makes it a little bit more flashier the way he does it. I don't know. It's just watching him play, watching Habibi, Days, all these skinny QBs. You know what I'm saying? And just Magician. He's leading. He's leading for a reason. He's not tied with nobody. He's leading. You know what I'm saying? He just does it differently.
I think Magician's fine. I think he's pretty good, but I don't think he carries. Like without Lamar, I don't think the Ravens are even a over 500 team this season, and I think PO with any other above average quarterback is. So, I mean, I think he's good, but I don't think you can compare. I mean, Lamar won an MVP and has shattered records. So.
I mean, Magician's probably on the same pace for that, but to me, I'm looking at it from a meta perspective and a balance perspective. If he can do this when we shift things away from the O-line being as overpowered as it is right now, if he can still do that, then yeah, I'm all for calling Magician Lamar. But until that point, I think it's hard to really say that that's what the case is.
Gotcha. All right, cool. We're going to move on to our next hot take. Is Kingsman on the bounce back? They were 0-3 to start the season, but they just recently got a win against Blizzard. So do we see them winning more or kind of staying in that bottom of their division wherever they were sitting before?
I mean, to me, what stands out most about them is that they do have smart players. I've talked with Gunslinger a couple times about how some of the people on their line and just on that Kingsman team are smart about the higher level things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the most talented, but they are smart. They understand the game concepts they need to understand. And I think what it's really going to take for them to fully bounce back is just putting in the work in the lab, putting in the time to gel together, even if they don't have the talent to really be super impressive, they can still get a couple of wins just off of having those game smarts they got. And there's guys on that team that do have the smarts, and now they're putting in the work in the lab. I see Cam and I see Juice putting in a ton of time and effort. And CBZ, not as much time, but he's still pretty smart. So if they just keep doing that, they might be able to make the playoffs. It's a tall order. They got a lot of work to do, but I can see it happening.
Yeah, I think they should be aiming for that wild card spot right now, honestly. I forget who's in their division. They got... Oh, no. Okay, they're not winning their division. They got K9 in their division. So they're 100% shooting for one of those wild card spots Also, you were mentioning a couple players on their team. I think Moore Gooder is one of the most intelligent defensive players I played with in my entire Gridiron career. He is nothing to sleep on. His 50s are getting better every single day, but he has a good head on his shoulders. So I think with some work in the lab, like you were saying, that could really make a bounce back.
Yeah, and I agree with you on like Gooder isn't necessarily the problem on that team. To me, it was always like Juice and CBZ getting reps in and getting smarter about the game, and I think they're showing that they can. So
I gotta disagree because I do a lot of analyzing of rosters just to see what works and what doesn't. And the only thing I'm certain of is when you look at this roster, it's just a bunch of losers mixed in with Juice and Oski. Hello to those guys, but everybody else on this, I just don't get it.
What about
Cam.
Cam Newton, man?
You think Cam's a
Cam
loser?
Newton. Cam is a giga loser.
Damn.
Goddamn loser.
Mouse is a super loser. When has
I'll agree
Mouse
with
ever
that.
won
I'll agree with
anything?
Look,
Does Mouse even win coin flips when they're on the field? What does Mouse win?
I don't even think he plays for
Bob
them.
Beetle of Kingsman is looking crazy
The
out there.
Bob of Kingsman. That's tough. He has himself listed as a wide receiver. What is going on? It's getting ridiculous. Like they have a really solid line, a really solid receiver one, and then I look at the guy at running back, and Ethan, who's not even there. Like, what is this just super outdated? What is this?
Well, oh yeah, they did pick up Yuffie. I know that. So Yuffie's doing some work for him.
I saw him get past Blizzard, but Blizzard's having some struggles. I just need to see more. Like the proof y'all need from PO is what I need from Kingsman, because I know these guys can be good, but right now they don't really play a lot.
well, on the bright side, I think they play this week, don't they?
I think they do as well, but I need like in pugs. I need to see more grinding because they're like most guys in this game aren't Duke. I mean, they can't take a month or two off and come back and still be in their physical prime. Like we got to realize we don't have that much talent. So but yeah, as it stands right now, they're all losers.
It's not about is magician Lamar Jackson. It's about is Duke beat Jerry Rice.
I think with the signing of Sparks, they're gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? Sparks, Giga back to carry this team. I think Cam's gonna have fun throwing it up to him.
But they lost.
I think Sparks is
They
there.
lost
They lost
Sparks.
He's back on
They
K9.
did?
Yeah.
You showed up unprepared.
Back on K9.
Yeah.
Like I said,
he
K9's
was
finna win
prepared.
this season. Next question. They lost.
Just like you were saying from the beginning.
When they lost Hippie, I was like, Kingsman's going downhill. Then they signed Sparks, and I was like, okay. You telling me they lost Sparks? I can't name anybody on Kingsman roster. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I think Cam can be one of the most accurate QBs in the game, but he really needs to have trust in his line, which I think he's missing right now. And that could be from just like him not having good chemistry with them, or just they have been blocking differently for different QBs. But I think if that changes, they have a good shot at bouncing back.
I got tired of what Turtle was saying.
I think CBZ was like playing World of Warcraft Classic up until like starting day. So I mean, it's always been about those reps. So
dang. All right. We're gonna move on to our next question here. Sorry, this stuff got a little bit messed up on screen. But the next question we got is, oh well, this was gonna be for Y2J, so we'll save this for when it comes back.
No, if it's the fire with Goon Squad, let me add him. Let me add him.
All right. Goon Squad. Where is the fire? They have had a cold start. I thought they were not like one of the top RSL teams, but I thought they were up there. So what's going on with them?
Let me tell you something, okay? Goon Squad named themselves. They named themselves after a team who lost, so they're automatically losers. And in the words of the great Turtle, everybody on Goon Squad is a loser. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I was on the team, we was having shootouts with False Idols, with Iron Phoenix, and Iron Phoenix just got blown out 95-0. So I don't know if I'd say Goon Squad has a fire. You know, but not to be just a negative Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
However, Haywood has been doing the damn thing in scrims. I would just like to see it translate into league games. They played K9. They didn't do too bad. They had it in a very close game. You know, we all liked what we saw, but they just couldn't pull through. And at the end, the score didn't look as pretty as it did in the second quarter. I just don't think that they have the people to compete. You know, you got Turtle on the line, loser. You got Haywood back there at QB, loser. You know, and when I left, it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders because I felt like I was no longer a loser. And now look at me I'm on a team that's rated, you know, top 10, and Goon Squad's on the fringe. So if you ask me where the fire is, I don't think there is any fire. Simple.
All right.
I think Goon Squad really. I think they just need to decide if they want to be good or not. I think they have every reason to be and the potential to be. I mean, they beat Aztecs, who I would rank better than them. I think Aztecs is a very good team, and they lost to K9, who, I mean, you can't really blame any team for doing that. I think the most confusing L that they took was to UFO, and I don't really know how they managed to pull that one off because I think they're considerably better. But
Yeah, and like playing in that game, because I was in that game, it just felt like a mega disconnect. And I don't know if it was because of me personally, and you know, I left, and I don't know if it's because me and Haywood or if it was just the team, but it just felt like we weren't moving as a unit. We were moving as individuals, and we weren't moving as one. I know you've seen the pass. Haywood overthrew a wide open Joshua for an easy touchdown, and then from there we just started crumbling. So if there is a fire, it's very, very, very short-lived. Okay, whatever we had during the scrims, they didn't have it in the league games. I see Goon Squad not winning a single game after this.
oh, what?
Dang. All right.
I'll
Interesting.
preface this with saying that I love the Goons. I love Goon
Uh-oh.
Squad. What I've seen so far, you know, they don't got that drive. The power ain't there. They're not staying hungry.
They're not devouring.
They're not devouring.
Let them know.
But I think maybe it's because of all the snakes, some of whom are in this call right now,
Oh.
betraying my man Haywood.
Oh.
Now he's just got to figure out who's serious on his team and who isn't. Now that they're gone, they got some lab time they got to put in, make some gameplay adjustments. You know, Haywood's not a bad QB all the time, but I don't think he either has the receivers that are going to deal with some of the bad throws he makes and come out on top. So he's just got to, going forward, keep that ball short, keep that field short, keep the clock running. And that way he doesn't risk turnovers and he can keep the score close. You know, you don't need to try going deep every single play. A lot of defenses in this league will misplay when you're trying to play a short field.
You know, and to go back to your comment with the snakes, you goddamn right. I was tired of losing. You know, any time that I have a shootout with Iron Phoenix and you got Clifton Harler dotting us up, that's crazy. You don't see that often. And I'm still a loser to this day, but because you know Dragoons just took the L, but we gonna bounce back. For Goon Squad, I think Haywood, I think the offense is fine. They just need to figure out what's going on with defense because at the end of the day, you can score as many points, but if you can't stop the other team, you're gonna lose, baby. Simple.
Look, you say you can't see them winning another game. They got Pride, Dark Side, False Idols, Royals, and Sentinels coming up.
Well, it's funny you say that because when we scrimmed against, well, not we, because I'm not on the team, losers, but when they scrimmed against Pride, Bam and Nick put the dick on them. Like, he beat them, and it was there that my eyes were finally open.
He renamed from Bama Nick to Bama Dick, right?
All right, let them know.
Let them know, Clifton.
I don't know. I think you're doing drugs if you don't think that they. Again, I love everybody in this community. You guys are all great. Everyone I've ever talked to, I can find something good to say about you. You are doing drugs if you think Goon Squad is losing to False Idols, to Royals, to
but
Sentinels,
in all
to
honesty,
Dark Side, and Pride.
In all honesty, I love the Goons. You know, I just think that they're a little confused. You know, when
Why'd
you're
you leave
in the
them
VC,
if you love them?
So I love my mama. I don't live with her. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying? So like the Goon Squad, when you're in the VC, it's all fun and games, but they want to like but they want to be serious team. It's very confusing being over there. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Well, Goon Squad, this is a call to action. Get your shit in order.
No.
Because you got some fans who want to see you do well. All right, we're going to move on to our last planned topic for today, which is who is going to run away with the Andromeda division. At the end of week 2, we had 3 teams that were 2-2. I believe Comets moved up to 3-2. Blizzard went to 2-3. And then Darkside is still at 2-2 because I think they had a bye. But who do we see winning Andromeda? Comets off to a not exactly ideal start.
I think that's exactly how you put it, though. I mean, it's Comets for the taking, obviously, but they got to take this season seriously because what I've seen from them so far in some of these matches is that there's a lot of uninspired play to start it, and when they start making mistakes, those mistakes start piling on. They had a really nice game against TD, but that game against Shinigami, that is the worst butt whipping I have ever seen. It was completely demoralizing just watching that.
That was the worst.
Even worse than the title beatdown. So maybe that's a wake up call. Oh yeah, to lose like that to Shinigami, to lose like that to Shinigami, come on, when you're the Comets. But I think it was also a wake up call. You know, like they started. I'm on that team, so they started to take it more seriously after that game because you don't want to lose to Shinigami. Come on.
Well, I don't think there's any way Comets don't win that division. They're a better team than Blizzard. They have an easier schedule coming up, at least for them. I think the hardest team they play is K9. They play PO, but I think they're better than PO. If they win the games they have to win, and should win, which is pretty much every game besides K9 and PO, maybe, then they finish the season in a very good spot, in a better spot than I think Blizzard's going to end up in. And I think Blizzard is really their only competition in the division.
I think the biggest question for me is, can they bring themselves up out of the slump they were in when they were 2-2? Which, Keys, it sounds like they are starting to do that. They just got to win against who'd they just win against? 3-2. Any idea, Keys?
They beat the Dragoons.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry, I was I was waiting for you to finish it. I thought maybe you knew, but yeah.
No, you're good.
They are starting to take it seriously. When I'm listening on the VC and I'm looking at the team chat, it's I don't think there was a thought process that Shinigami was as good as they expected going into that game, and Shinigami was those dudes that day. So
yeah, they've got
that's the wake up call they
impressive line.
needed.
Gotcha.
If they can start making the adjustments, start putting a little bit more time into scrimming and warming up, I think it's the Comets to take. But if they don't learn from that lesson, that hard lesson Shinigami gave them, it's Comets to lose. Because I mean, they could lose some games, some upset games. If they're not taking it seriously.
I'm saying it's too early to count the Dragoons out. I know that's a super hot take because nobody looks at the Dragoons like that. But I'm watching, and it's not because I'm on the team, but I'm watching them play, and it's like if we could fix a few key things, I think we actually are, possible contenders to win this division. We started off rough, and I can't say weak because I just got here, but a rough start. The close game to PO that showed me that there is a possibility that we could actually come get some, go get us some. You know what I mean?
You gonna snake your way out of the Dragoons if they start losing more again?
So Dragoons started off 1-3. Who do they got playing next?
We play K9.
Okay, that is a
easy week, dude.
That is a hefty game to prepare for. I don't know what the rest of the Dragoons schedule looks like. But who knows? Maybe Wi-Fi is putting in some work. Maybe Malik is absolutely slinging dots like Hook says he is.
I'm excited for their final game of the year, which is against Goon Squad.
Ooh,
I'm excited as well.
a little revenge match to return home.
Yeah, sir.
I mean, at that point, that game won't matter for him.
Mm.
Oh, I
But it'll
hope
be
Goon
fun to
Squad
watch.
wins, though. I hope Goon Squad wins.
That's crazy.
That'll be so nice.
$5 Zelda to everyone on Goon Squad's roster if they win that game.
Alrighty. So we got some. I think the consensus is it's Comets to lose, but maybe Dragoons is a little dark horse. More or less.
I don't see it, but yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if Wi-Fi's saying they're the dark horse, sure, why not? Let's go with
I'm
that. I
saying
don't
it's
see
too
it,
early.
but
I'm saying it's too early to count us out. You know.
I'll
You
count
know
you
what I'm
out.
saying?
Mm.
That's crazy.
Comets on top.
If Ryan Keys was in the game when we played the Comets, ECW. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, we'll see about that. You gotta put me in now. Jibble, put me in.
All right, so we are going to move on to the last part of Hot Takes, where we open up the Hot Takes room to the chat. I want to hear your hottest takes, some questions for us. Anyone on the show, if you got something that's absolutely bugging you that you want to get out, now is the time.
I think Clifton's got to show off the racing stripes.
Oh, for every Comets win, I'm getting another stripe in my
Are you
car
actually?
for the rest of the season.
That's
Me and
sick.
Riding discussed this before the
I'm
talk
looking
started.
at
I got
the
3
chat
right now.
That's crazy.
Looking at
You
the
ain't.
chat.
I got 3 right now. I still have another half of my head to use.
I was gonna say you ain't gonna have
And
a
then-
beard by the end of this.
Maybe we'll get to the beard, maybe the top of the head.
Well, yeah,
Like a
we can
split
talk
mullet
about that
down the
too.
middle.
Because I'm shaving off a centimeter of my beard every time JBL throws a pick. So I don't know.
You
We'll
can
see
have razor
playoff time. I
close.
might not have a beard.
Oh, Vishy is saying Shinigami has the best lineman room by far. I disagree. I think, and I'm a little bit biased here. I think Title has the most depth, the most IQ. Well, no, okay. Comets has a lot of line IQ. I will say Huck and Rats and Humble they're smart guys, but I think just the talent on Title is unmatched in terms of line. So Vishy, I gotta disagree with you there. I'm sorry.
I'll
Okay.
disagree too.
Aren't you play on Title?
I know. That's why I'm a
I
little
want
bit
to remind
biased.
you of that.
I see dogs ask me who's the most overrated team. My personal opinion, I think the Dark Doritos had the most hype for no reason. Personally, like on paper, they have a good team. You know, you got Ass Eating Season, Joshy, Ethan, all that good stuff. But to me personally, I just don't think that they're playing. You know, they're not playing like the hype that they got when they signed these people. Everybody was talking about, you know, DJK was talking about God this, God that. Then they lost. It was crazy. So I don't think that, you know, they're playing for the hype that they got for signing those people.
Interesting.
I think they got the best player in the game on that team though.
Who?
My boy, Zeno.
Did they pick up Xenial too?
I think they did. Yeah, I
Huh.
seen him playing with them a little bit. Unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong. Maybe he's just scrimming with them.
Interesting. Last week, if I remember correctly, people were riding high on Joshy on Hot Takes. I don't get the hype. I don't understand it. Is he that good? Am I
fine.
bugging?
He's fine.
No, you were right. I think I was the only one on the hot takes, including you, that said that that's like I would cut Joshy, right? Yeah, I think I said cut Joshy.
I think there's a lot more people in the community that are average or slightly above average than people want to believe. I feel like people are too quick to put the good tag or very good tag on people. And what it mostly is team composition or, you know, if it's a wide receiver, how good is that quarterback? I mean, if you put a wide receiver who's not that great with somebody like Zipper throwing to him, they're obviously going to look better.
Gotcha.
I just don't think Joshy's good. You know, and I'm a lineman, so I can't say anything. There's no hate to my boy Joshy, right? But like, you need to warm up 40 minutes before a game, and you still play bad. You can't call yourself good. I think he's good with DJK though. I think they have a chemistry, and that's why he looks good. But put him on any other team, and I don't think he could perform. Case in point, he was on Goon Squad, looking like hot cans of butt. It was crazy.
All right, we'll take
You know, it's just because he wasn't playing with you.
we'll take one or two
Yeah.
more from the chat. Oh, Chicken wants to know how overrated Chicken is. I think he
Oh
was voted the
my
most overrated lineman or most overrated player in the
Boy.
GFA or something.
Chicken with a
This might-
hyphen.
Yeah, Chicken
Yeah,
hyphen.
this might be a hot take, but I think Chicken Hyphen is rated exactly where he should be. I mean, the dude has like he says it as a joke, and he said it to me after we got into it one night. But he's won 9 tournaments and he's playing online, and that's not an accident. I think he's one of those guys that are a game changer when he's on the field. The dude's very good. You can't take it away from him.
I think I agree with you there. He has some interesting ways of showing love and affection to his teammates sometimes, but I think the skill is there, the IQ is there. He is a game changer on both sides of the ball online. Absolutely. So
I agree
he's
with all
up
of
there.
that.
I
I
like
think
it.
he's
I like.
a butthole, but I agree.
I think Chicken is good unless he's going against Xenio. I think Xenio wins that matchup every time. Other than that, I think
Zeno!
Big Zeno puts it on Chicken every time they play, and it's crazy. But I like Chicken's rate. He's pretty good.
Cool. All right, we'll take one more because we only got a little bit of time. Crimson says Aztecs has the
overrated.
most underrated wide receiver room in the league. Who is in their wide receiver room?
It's Jance, Big
I guess that's
Creamy,
why they're underrated.
Avoid, Crims. I mean, they got really good receivers. The whole team the team as a whole is pretty fucking good or freaking good. I apologize. I mean, again, it's mind blowing to me that they're out of the top 10. Avoid is incredible. Jance has really come into his own over the last couple months. Crims is a guy who I played with back when I was on the Tapirs, if anybody remembers that team. Like I pulled that dude out of a pub and made him play with us.
Hmm.
The guy's very good.
Gotcha. I think I go back and forth on Aztecs a bunch. I feel like they can really play up to a high level if they're all in it, but I just don't see that hunger from all their wide receivers or all their linemen. Like, there's not a drive to be the best, or I don't even know. So maybe they are underrated because they can get to that level. They can be there, but it's just a matter of getting there.
I don't know if they're underrated. I think if you have to ask who, that's enough. That tells you enough.
Fair.
Who are
No,
they?
that's fair for like a Hall of Fame talk. But we're talking about teams good right now. Like if you have to ask, should this person be in the Hall of Fame? They shouldn't. But if you have to ask, is this team underrated? Then I think it's fair to say, yeah, they might be.
I mean, I definitely think putting them, if we looked at Hooks' hot take, or yeah, I guess they're hot takes because those power rankings are so bad. But if you look at them as on the fringe, I think that's a little kind of like, you're off your rocker if you're thinking that's true. But so yeah, maybe they are underrated, or maybe they should be a little higher because the Aztecs are a good team. They do have a decent receiving core. To say that they're really, really, really great, and you should be putting them up there and maybe the top 5, that's a little bit of a stretch. But I could see them, 6 to 10 maybe.
Oh yeah, I
Talking
was gonna say, I
receiving core.
think somewhere around like 6, 7, 8. I think this is the team that when they're firing on all cylinders, and they're going out there to win a game, they're gonna give most teams a run. I mean, it's not gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Gotcha. All right. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you, Clifton, Riding Keys, Wi-Fi, and Y2J if you're out there somewhere. Thank you all so much for coming. Appreciate all y'all that came in the chat. But that is all we have for GFA Live today. Catch us next week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, December 7th. Have a good night.